But let us move on to wide receivers. We talked about Paris Campbell. He's just 4% rostered. I mean, Matt Ryan had an atrocious day, but Campbell still ended up with a pretty nice day. I mean, so last week he caught 7 of 11 targets for 57 yards and a touchdown. This week, 10 of 12 targets. That's all that passing volume that you were talking about for 70 yards and a touchdown. Had a better day than Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce. I mean, the big question mark for him has always been the injuries, right? I mean, he is the wide receiver 7 for the week, but he has never played more than 7 games in a season. And now we also have the extra variable of Sam Ellinger. Yeah. So, I mean, they do have Washington next week, but I don't know how comfortable you would feel starting him. So maybe it's more of a wait and see type thing. I kind of felt a little bit better with him, if it was Ryan under center versus Ellinger, but we'll see. Maybe it can't get worse for them. In terms of some other guys I like Wan'Dale Robinson. We talked about just the Giants receiving core just not being able to stay healthy. We've got Kadarius Toney, who just seems like he'll never see the field again. Sterling Shepard has a torn ACL. So, I mean, I think that he could be, he isn't a prospect that I actually found super impressive out of college. I thought that the landing spot was kind of funny, but if he's going to be like the only guy healthy, then certainly it looks interesting, especially on this team that's looking a lot better offensively than I think anyone expected. So he's 29% rostered. And as I mentioned, they've got the Seahawks next week. And then Khalif Raymond, we talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown potentially missing this game. I mean, it's just riskier now with the concussion protocols. He's out there in every league. So he's got the Dolphins defense to go up against this week. They've been pretty permeable against the pass. So I like him. And then the last name I will mention is Elijah Moore. Just keep an eye on him. We talked about what's going on here. He's 42% rostered. He's been dropping. And I think that honestly, this may be the time to pick him up because it can't get worse than catching passes from Zach Wilson.
Well, hopefully he gets traded. That seems like the only hope for Elijah Moore at this point.
Pretty much.
I mean, I guess Corey Davis's injury should open things up. It's so disappointing that for the second year in a row, when Zach Wilson plays, the receiver production goes down because there's so many exciting receivers in New York.
Just bring back Joe Flacco, please.
Right? I mean, that's our dying hope for fantasy. Who knew? But look, yeah, I agree with Paris Campbell. I think it's tough because when you say those numbers again, 7 for 57, 10 for 70, that's kind of offense they were running with Matt Ryan. But I mean, obviously you're very encouraged that means that the team and the offensive coordinator and the snaps he's getting and the looks he's getting, he's a trusted guy there. But I am more intrigued by his teammate, Alec Pierce, if he's still available because of the upside and the fact that he's a rookie receiver that could keep getting better. And on this list, I like Wan'Dale Robinson. I picked him up a bunch last week because I was just so intrigued by, there just seemed to be, from the reporters I talked to in New York, like, he's better than what we've seen so far as they're bringing in 3 new receivers every week. And then I was really encouraged. 6 catches for 50 yards on 8 targets was all in the first half. So they were peppering him right away. It was a big part of the game plan. Now he ended up with no targets in the second half. So that could be the kind of up and down ride that you're going on with Wan'Dale Robinson. But I think it's just a little more fun when you can combine somebody who's getting both volume and has the upside that he has. That's someone I'd want to chase on a list like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And one other name I wanted to mention, potentially DeAndre Carter from the Chargers. Now I know they're going on bye, but he could be an interesting stash if it looks like Mike Williams is going to miss, multiple weeks. He could end up on IR. So certainly a name to keep an eye on, especially with Keenan Allen's hamstring injuries on his own.